Well, hi, howdy everyone. Old Greybeard here, and it's time to get your wooden baton and shields ready. Because we're going to talk about the S.C.A. Woo!
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, woo!
You said quiet, so we were being quiet.
I know. Dr. Gere and Old Greybeard here, and tonight we're going to talk about Society for Creative Anachronism. Society was founded in 1966 by some guys at Berkeley, actually, and there's like the original battle was like a dozen idiots in armor, and smashing each other with sticks in the backyard. Yeah, and it's developed over the years, of course. Oh, I got no shield. There it is. That's the way. That's about ASMR. So, I just love this S.C.A. combat. It gives me the brain sparkles.
You know, you're going to give the ASMR people an aneurysm doing that.
Give myself
Sparkle!
because I don't have my chin strap on.
Look at the mega sparkle thing
Change
going on.
their pants.
Whew.
ASMR.
Hey, bring that center stage. Your helmet.
Helmet here. Take it from me. I'm gonna put my headband back on.
And yeah, I've got the coyote and Dr. Gere all decked out.
There. No. Now I look like a gang member. I gotta take that back off.
All right.
Alright.
So why don't you talk about your helmet for a minute?
My helmet is the minimum, I believe, 16 gauge stainless steel.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually really light for most helmets are a lot heavier, and it's small, so I like it because I can lean and I can do all this stuff without falling over. But yeah, they gotta put the grill in the face, right? So this is the non-historical part of every helm, is that it's got to be full face, because where's the camera? Okay, see, all the weapons have to be 1.25 inches, and then all the spaces on the helmet only 1 inch, so you can't stab through.
I like that your helmet has a mustache.
Yes, mustache on my helmet.
You want to talk about the brass?
The brass? What about it?
Why it's there and what?
It's there to be decorative.
Yeah.
It is a mustache and a nose and a bird.
And did you build this helmet?
I did not build this helmet. This helmet was built by Belrix
Mm-hmm.
of Blue Rose. What?
Pitch that one.
Pitch that one out there to him. So then
Padding.
you pad it up. So you're padding. See, I keep pointing it at the screen because you got that camera offset.
Yeah, sorry. It's so I can read chat.
Yeah.
So
we pad it up there, and people pad them different ways, but
there is no minimum or maximum requirement for padding.
yeah. Half inch
is minimum.
Close cell.
But other than
Close
that,
cell
I mean, you could have 3 inches of padding in your helmet if you wanted.
Yeah. And I
dodge those
recommend wearing
concussive,
the chin strap when you're going to hit yourself, or else, you kind of jog your head.
Can you have a helmet that's made of all padding? Just a big wad of padding?
No, it's got to have the steel.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's got to be, I think it's 16 gauge stainless, 14 gauge mild steel.
To disperse the incoming blow. If you just had padding, you could funnel a much smaller area of kinetic energy.
Just a joke.
I know.
My friend Amadon once took a hit to the back of the head right after his helmet flew off.
Oh.
Like his chin strap came off, his helmet flew off, and then someone whacked him upside the back of the head, and he fell down, but he got back up. He's a big guy, really big guy.
So there are, kingdoms for S.C.A. all across the world. I forget there are, we've got 4 kingdoms in the United States.
Way more than that. I don't even know how many.
Not.
There's like 8 or so.
Is there?
Yeah.
I thought there was Mid-Realm.
Yeah.
North Shield. Oh yeah, there's
East
more.
Coast.
Yep. Yeah.
Atlantia,
West
Trimeris.
Side.
Trimeris has got its own kingdom?
Trimeris is a kingdom.
Okay.
It's like Florida and like the Panhandle and
Hmm.
that sort of area.
Yeah.
Should have brought the map. but
Well,
you wouldn't be able to make it out anyway.
yeah.
I sent him a link to the S.C.A website. There's maps there.
Ah, there you go. Go check out a map.
And I've got some of the S.C.A. There. I've got some of the S.C.A. things up over here that I'll throw links up if and when we
And
get
I'm gonna
to 'em.
grab this technology to share that post for
All
other
right.
people, like I said.
All right.
So you go on about that history stuff. that
Okay.
you've got written
So
down.
well, we live in the Middle Kingdom, and we're in the barony of Andalcraig. We
in the region of Pentamere.
Yeah. Yep. And let's see. And there's the areas. There's Westmere, Three Hills, Rimsholt. These are just all the areas within our barony that people belong to. And there's cantons, yeah, houses. And then there's houses within those. And you have to have 5. Is it still 5 members to be a house?
No, a house is anything. Houses are unofficial.
Really?
Yeah.
I used-
Cantons are the requirement. I think 7, 8 people, something
Nah.
like that.
It used to be 5. I know that. At one point. So you could, as long as you got 5 people together hanging out, you could declare yourself a canton of, anything you wanted. You literally could be the canton of Terminus.
Terminus.
Yep. Or Squirrel Bane. People would laugh at you and hate you because, there's a lot of serious people who...
There's a lot of unserious people.
There is. Most of the people in our area have always been fun.
Yeah.
And wanted to give out a shout to the fact that our current baronesses, we don't have a baron and a baroness. We have 2 baronesses of, and I hope I pronounced these right, Antonia Lavina Maria Toscano and Colette de Valaris are our current baronesses. And I have actually never met them because I've been out of it for a while. But it's good times. Good times. I can't say enough. Just because there's arts and crafts, and you can earn ranks by doing service for the organization.
Or your arts and crafts.
Yeah.
You can win awards in the arts and sciences.
And there's heavy combat, fencing, archery. We really wanted to hopefully start dueling, like paintball guns, 1 shot, 1 kill, dueling at one point.
Yeah, that would take a while.
I know, but we talked about it a lot for a long time. 10 paces, turn and fire, wear fencing gear, or some style of armor for it.
I thought about trying to do that in the steampunk community.
No, ooh, the dueling society.
Yep.
I'm a little bit of a big target for it, but I shoot straight.
Shoot straight.
So like Andrew Jackson, I'd let him fire first, and then I'd shoot back. All right. What is your favorite style of S.C.A. combat?
My favorite style?
2 weapons, spear, sword and board.
Depends on the situation.
Field battle?
I'm a pole fighter. I like to fight with polearm. But 2 weapons is cool when you're doing one-on-ones.
When you're dueling?
But sword and shield, which is what they start you with, is... I mean, I played with that for years because you're more aggressive. It's slamming into people, which you're not supposed to do, and wailing on them with a stick. So it's a lot of fun.
I used to get called all the time because I would hold my shield out because we would use shields with center bosses, and so it's not a board strapped to your arm, and so I could move the shield around, and I would put this right in the socket of their arm so they can't really swing, and then I would be the one who would get called as they're running into me because I was punching people with my shield boss.
Yeah, they tried getting you on that on your authorization.
Yep. Because, you know, look at this. What? 2+ watt.
Yeah, you were only
Shield.
using a 2-foot shield. You were using a little round.
Bam! And so I could just put it in their shoulder socket and just rail them. It's so fun. I love it. You can't, without doing it, you can't, you can't explain it. You saw how Doc Gere was smashing himself in the skull with the rattan there. Rattan's part of the bamboo family. Supposedly it would break before your bones would, but
No, it wouldn't.
pretty sure
Yeah.
that's one of the official things why they use rattan is.
I've never heard that.
Oh, I just read it
Just
today.
read it. Okay.
Because supposedly
It doesn't
there's no way.
splinter. That's the reason I've heard.
Yeah.
Know of.
It's fibrous.
Yeah. It
That's
just wears out. It doesn't splinter and snap.
Yeah, because bamboo can cause razor sharp shards.
Right. Well, bamboo's really light. Not the weight of a sword.
Yeah. So, what else do you want to say?
That's the other part, is that it's supposed to be the weight of the actual weapon. Oh, this is sort of a katana style. I can't even get the whole thing on the screen. There we go. Woo! Hand and a half. I don't know why, because it's good.
And then, you can do all kinds of things. Like this Subo is leather,
Yep.
but you can do hand guards. I don't have any of mine.
All the basket hilts and
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah. Everything is required though. So like if he had quillions, they would have to be padded.
Not a padded. They have to be 1 1/4 inches.
Oh, okay.
Like I was saying before, like the weapons, they'd have to actually be 1 1/4 inches, so they can't go through the.
Yeah, I've always
helmet.
seen them though. They usually put nubs on them.
Yes, yeah. Sometimes people pad them up or whatnot. A question, Mr. Carter.
Mr. Carter. Oh.
That's Lord Carter to you.
So, what are the rules when the wizard casts a lightning bolt at you?
That's their LARP show, sir.
Is this just LARPing?
It is not just LARPing.
Looks like LARPing.
This is a society for medieval anachronism, and hence there is no magic.
There is archery.
There is archery and siege weapons.
Blunted arrows. Siege weapons.
Siege weapons.
I am going to take this here off.
Yeah.
Because sitting in a gorget.
Uh-huh.
But I wanted to cover that first.
Yes.
That's why I had it on.
Go ahead.
So, you saw the helmet. You got to protect your head. And then you got to wear a gorget, which is the most annoying part of armor because it's like around your throat. But you don't want to get your trachea busted. It has to cover your vertebrae back here so those don't get busted.
And when I was on board, you didn't technically need the gorget if you had a coif. If it was chainmail coif, which
if your helmet, if it's covered completely.
Yeah. So,
most people wear it anyway. Like I used to have one, and I wore just a soft leather.
I would wear something. So,
all right.
Oh, what do we got?
Okay, so that's the gorget. There, mine's actually steel. I just covered it with deer skin so it matches my armor. Because again, you got to be protected. You can't always be historically correct. So, I do. This is a Germanic style, late Roman influence, like the auxiliaries in the Roman army, which actually at that time period was all of the Roman army. But I did Vikings for years and years, and then I switched up to the Germanics.
Can you be a ninja?
You could be a ninja. Yeah,
You're a pirate.
You could be a pirate. Ninjas and pirates.
Yep, you're just crossing the line with the pirates, but if you're going to do that, you go into the fencing, you're fine.
Could you be a zombie?
You could not be a zombie, although we do have at Penzic War every year, during the Midnight Madness shopping day, there's a group that does a zombie walk.
Nice.
They go through the marketplace at night as zombies.
Thriller?
Uh-huh.
Oh, got it.
So I'll cover that armor thing. So I started with the head. Gotta cover your head. Then you got the gorget to cover your throat. Then you move your way down, and I'm not wearing them. I'm supposed to have an elbow pad on here, but I don't have the pad. But your elbows have to be covered. It's got to be hard over soft, so I'd need a pad on under that. So there's the arm. And this, again, this is not historically correct for my time period, but
see all the tooling and wonderfulness.
that's my
Not
other record.
not like the big sexy, which was function form, and I mean function over form.
And then there's a gauntlet, because you got to protect your fingers and your wrists. So elbows, wrist, hand, throat, head. Those all have to be protected. Then you move down to your body. You need your kidneys
Kidney belt.
and your floating ribs need to be covered. That's all you actually have to have on your body. A lot of guys wear nothing but a kidney belt.
Yeah.
Those guys are big, and I think those guys are idiots.
I've seen a lot of them. They usually do the gladiator thing, and they're out there in as little as possible. Oh my God, I can't.
Literally,
imagine.
they'll have elbow pads with the metal on them, and then they'll have like their half gauntlets or their gauntlets, whatever, and a kidney belt, and then helmet and gorget.
Yep.
You move down, gotta wear a cup. That's important. And then your knees have to be covered. I didn't bring a knee in because, well, you only see us from here down, and it looks just like this, only a little bit bigger.
I got a bag with knees in it over there, but I don't. Unless somebody wants to see one, I don't think we're gonna bother. So, Bjorn's on board, and he's talking about rattan. I hear they use rattan because it makes a funnier sound when you hit someone in the small intestine. Okay, I cannot disagree with that statement, I guess. I have no proof to either direction. Oh, man. All right. Let's see. Okay. Bjorn.
Burned all the witches.
Yeah, exactly. We're just going down Bjorn's comments. Awesome. So first time I had this armor on, I said it looks good. It looks sexy. Colin Farrell sexy. And then I proceeded to sit down, and when I sat down, we had a nice, really soft couch, and the armor sprung up over my head. So it was like, turtle, turtle. It was, yeah. Anyway, let's see. Like your slang, Muddy. That's awesome. Let's talk about weapons. What all... I mean, the gambit of weapons is amazing. If you do bring something new, you actually have to have it approved. I saw a guy one time want to bring the Zulu shield spear. So he had a slim, long shield with a center boss, and then he had spikes, a little bit of spear coming out both ends. And they had a lot of problems with that.
That's a no-no. You can't hit. Shield is not a weapon.
Yeah. So they had big problems with that. But I actually did get to see him, make his statement, have, cause and a historic document, and I'm like, you are the least Zulu person I've ever seen in my life. But to each his own. It's great because you can be anybody in S.C.A. Great swords.
There's a lot of white guys as samurai.
Yeah.
You always see these samurai, and they got like the awesome mask and stuff, and they take it off, and they're just some white dude.
Wait a second. You can't be anybody. You just said you can't be a wizard.
Okay. All right. Anybody between historically from 600
Romans to Renaissance.
Yeah,
that's how
there you go. Romans to Renaissance. Yeah, it's something BC to 1600.
No, it's not BC.
It isn't anymore?
No, it never was officially. I think you were right on there with like 600 to like 1600 something.
Because I know they've got a ton of legionnaires.
Yeah, well, that's the reason they expanded, is because people just kind of do it. Officially, it's supposed to be this to that, but I mean, originally it was just knights.
Yeah.
It was just medieval.
Yeah.
But then everybody wanted to be Vikings, and so it stretched, and then it stretched, and it stretched, and then people want to be Legionnaires. And
The
maybe eventually we'll have cavemen out there.
maybe.
Neanderthals.
Well, you do have guys who are there with addles. So,
yes, not on the battlefield, though.
right. But in like archery and whatnot.
Yep.
So let's continue to talk about weapons. Addle.
Well, do you want
great sword.
Do you want to cover the actual S.C.A. weapons first?
Well, what they
allow.
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so you're allowed single-hand weapons. So maces, swords, axes. Axes are usually made with like a rubber head.
Maces are made with door stops.
Yep.
Rubberized door stops.
Yeah, or they actually, there's a lot of companies out there, people now actually just molding pre-made axe heads, pre-formed mace heads.
Out of like some kind of industrial foam?
Like it's a solid, like a rubber.
Ah.
A lot of times now people are just using like Kongs, the
Yeah.
dog chew toys.
Yeah. Well, that was the big thing. The maces that I liked when I was on board was they just take the rubber rubber door stops and put like 4 of them on a piece of rattan and then duct tape and do them up. And there's a weight requirement though, right?
Yeah. Single hand weapon can be up to 5 pounds, which is ridiculous. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, there was a guy who had a mace that he made that was, I mean, it was like 5 pounds of weight all out here. And he's got it on his shoulder and he's carrying it. And I'm walking behind him and he turns and hits me with it like that and knocked me down. I mean, it's just, he didn't even swing it at me. So, yeah, the weight requirement's a little bit ridiculous. They're lenient.
Came across a guy one time with a maul, and it had to be pushing because it was huge. It was padded. It was wonderfully padded, but I swear he took like a 3-pound barbell and attached it to the rod and then put 2 pounds of foam on it because that thing was brutal. And he was,
There's one guy who's got he calls it the mailbox of love.
Yeah.
It looks like a big mailbox, and he's got a big pink heart on it.
Harley Quinn style.
Yeah, it is like this giant maul that he uses out in the field. You can see that over the battlefield. Hence the mailbox of love.
Yeah. Medieval tactics. We were still talking about weapons.
Yep.
Sorry. So up to 5 pounds.
Yep, on a single-hand weapon. And then you jump up into polearms, which are up to 7.5 feet. That's like a piece of rattan that is a blade you beat people with.
Mm-hmm.
Then you jump above that. You go, back up. You got great swords, great weapons, great axes. I don't know the size on those. It's about 5 feet, something like that. I don't use them. Great
swords can be 6 feet.
Yeah.
I remember that, and I remember they're horrible. I hated them. I thought I would love it because I'd done kenjutsu for a while, and so I thought, this is gonna be awesome. It's rough. It's rough. They're too big.
What I don't like on the great swords is that they allow the blade, grabbing the blade. I think it's a little bit ridiculous.
Okay.
But
if
it's an actual striking surface, then you shouldn't be able to grab it.
And then that would be fine. It would be okay if they had 2 foot or a foot beyond the handle done, but most of them end up using it like an axe with 4 foot of.
But then they can go like this. And that's what I don't like. Here, I gotta come over here like this with it.
Yeah.
So you guys are basically like those Civil War reenactor freaks.
Except for that it's actually competing combat and it's not a reenactment. That's a great question, buddy.
All my questions are great.
Oh.
Lightning bolt.
It's kind of hard when there's the armor.
I know.
Yeah. See, now I'm full on frame.
Yes.
And you're only 3/4 on frame. There. Oh.
Right. Okay, sorry. Threw you off. Polearms.
Polearms. Yep. We were covering polearms. You can have pole axes or just glaives, whatnot. Again, they're good for hacking, stabbing. And that's when you do have to have a gauntlet. You can't just have your hand in a basket on that, of course. Then you jump up to spears. And spears can be rattan, but they're usually fiberglass. And they're not really spears because they're pikes.
Yes.
I don't know.
10 foot is what I heard, but
9 foot.
Yeah.
They're
So
9 foot spear. And yes, they're fiberglass, pokies only.
big pads.
Big pad. Actually, they've shrunk it down now quite
Really?
a bit. Yeah, I think it's down to 2-inch. Used to be a 4-inch. Now it's down to like 2-inch.
Nice. Nice.
But I hate them.
Yeah.
Because again, they're pikes and not a spear, and they don't stick into anything, and the shafts don't break.
Right.
Which in reality they stick into things and the shafts break, which makes them essentially a super weapon, and that's kind of how they are on the battlefield.
Yeah.
So that's a problem with combat, is you get these lines of guys and then I get to poke, and that's all that happens, and all guys with shields have to stand there and protect the guys with spears
Until they actually
Until
take
they
a
get
hit.
killed.
Until they take a hit.
So yeah, I don't like the spears. They annoy me. That's why I won't pick one up. I won't do it. I use a polearm, but I won't do the spear.
All right. Archery.
Combat archery is blunted fiberglass arrows. They finally switched.
Oh,
over.
finally. They used
Yeah.
to be golf tubes.
Yeah.
And
Siloflex.
yeah,
They were golf tubes long ago. Siloflex, and then now they finally went in our kingdom, because kingdoms can have different rules.
Yeah, and so for the longest time we didn't.
Yeah, we were like the last kingdom to switch over to fiberglass arrows,
Oh.
which have a blunted rubber tip on them and then a ring on the back, so they can't go through the helmets, and they can hurt. I had got shot with a crossbow right here once, and I got a medallion like there, and it actually bent the medallion through my armor. I was like, that guy it was from a crossbow, and
Right.
I was like, he must have cranked it up somehow after inspection, because I mean,
No.
yeah,
No one would ever
hit
do
me hard. Oh.
You know, paintball. They're sitting there, plink, plink, plink. Oh, look, I'm under 300 feet per
Get out the
second.
Allen wrench. Yeah, sorry. So anyway, archery, people hate it because they get all suited up and they walk out to a battlefield, and then they get shot with an arrow and have to leave.
Bjorn would like to know what the draw weight limit is.
Oh, jeez. I don't know the crossbow one. I believe longbows are 60 pound.
I was going to say, I remember 50, 55 in that.
Somewhere around that.
So
it's heavier than I used to think it was.
Oh, and there's something about, can someone wield the spear of the chosen people, which Bjorn seems to think you would understand. I don't get it.
I don't know.
That's my name. Good memory, Bjorn.
Huzzah! So let's talk siege engines.
Yeah, because I think we're done there.
Mm-hmm.
With throwing weapons. You can have
Pork
javelins. Javelins are what they call pork chops, which are supposed to be like axes, but they come out looking like a pork chop.
Because you have to have so much padding on it, and so they're, you'd have, at least way back when years ago.
Well, because it has to be padded all the way around.
So you would have two shield walls come together, and then a barrage of pork chops would go flying.
Or dum-dums is what they call the javelins, because they have this big, like the smaller foam football head for that.
Whee!
So I often thought that I would like to make a spear with a plunger on the end of it, so it works like a real spear.
And
so
sticks.
you stick it to people's shields, and then you pull on the shield, so
And then
other people can kill them. I thought that'd be funny.
Oh, probably illegal. But trebuchet, ballista, scorpions, onagers, catapults.
You can make house elves.
House elves. You can throw house elves.
House elves from.
House elf tossing is very, very big in the Middle Kingdom.
All right. Okay. Unless you've got something special.
So me and Emma have washed our hair. When can we open this card?
Not now. We're in the middle of a show. Go.
Tomorrow?
Maybe.
Yay!
we got a present from Gen Con Mouse Guard box set and for the role play game, and the house elves are way excited about it. So yeah. Anyway, excuse the interruption. Siege engines. So basically, the ammo for all of them are not the same.
House elf incoming.
I'm excited because mouses are cute.
Yes, ma'am. The ammo for all the trebuchet, catapult, all those, they're basically the same, right?
No,
And no,
no,
what
because
can you?
well, like a ballista fires.
Well, that's why I was saying all the ones that throw stuff.
that throw rocks.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't even know what they are anymore because people don't
Yeah.
use them.
yeah. They used to
I
look
think
like
it's tennis balls taped together.
they used to look like used to look like four-sided die most of the time. So yeah, it was like four tennis balls all together, and then a billion pounds of duct tape. And then
They don't. Nobody uses those anymore.
at all.
I haven't seen one in years.
Oh man, that was
the
so
ballista's
fun.
more
Yeah.
accurate and
So
it's a better weapon. I mean, you fire direct. So he's got it.
okay.
So the one year, I think we had like 20 of them out on the battlefield at Penzic. Just a ridiculous amount, all on one side. Yeah. But they don't use those things in all battles. Generally, because people hate archery, they'll only do archery in a resurrection battle or in the third of 3 battles. They'll like if it's a castle battle, they'll run it 3 times, and on the third one they'll be like, okay, archery in this one. That way people aren't like, I walked all this way, I got killed by a stupid arrow. Because you see it and you see people ignore it all the time. That's a peeve of mine. I haven't done archery yet, but if you get hit, take it.
In the golf tube days, people would swat the arrows out of the air on purpose to break them. They would see it coming and they would just smack them so they would snap or be bent and
the
stuff.
other thing is like doing some of these like, hunk, hit me in the side of the helmet, doesn't count.
Glazed off.
Yeah.
So
That type of thing. I don't know. I have gripes about some of the rules like that. Like the side of the helmet hits with stabbing doesn't count.
yeah, that is a little weird.
Well, I understand it for safety,
Right.
but in logic, if you took a helmet and you set that helmet down, right, and you take a spear and you stab it with a spear, you're more likely to go through it than you are to hack through it with a sword. It's just, it's physics.
Yeah.
But safety-wise, yeah, you don't want people getting stabbed in the side of the head.
Snap.
That's how I got these scars up here, which you can't see on me.
Well, that's kind of a look at weapons. Let's talk about society a little bit.
How about rules?
Okay. All right. I really do want to hit the knight thing though. We do gotta. I want to talk about like some of that, but let's go ahead since we're combat heavy.
Yeah, just slip through that real quick.
Okay.
So basically, on the field, it's an honor system. It has to be a blow that is good enough to get through chainmail armor. That's basically, you're considered to have chainmail armor and an open-faced helmet. So no matter what you're wearing, that's what you're considered to be. So the blow actually has to be hard enough to get through that armor. And then anything in the head kills you. A stab has to be in the face, but that's also light. You hit light in the face with a stab because you're going to break noses, you're going to break necks and stuff.
Because helmets are going to move.
Yeah.
No matter what you got in there, they're going to, physics is against you. It's a bell on your head.
So anything in the head is a kill. And then anything to the body is a kill. If you get hit in a limb, you lose that limb. So you got to run around like this. Get hit in the leg, you got to drop to your knees. No jumping, no hopping around. You can't do that. You got to drop to your knees and fight.
It's a flesh wound.
Right. Well, yeah, except for you can't hop around without your leg.
It's usually just screaming and
How about you?
Oh, bite your knees off.
What you got, Muddy?
Oh, Okay.
What do I got? I got syphilis and the crabs and everything else.
TMI.
I am TMI.
There goes the show already.
PG.
Hey, they asked. Ain't my fault.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. I've got 2 knees and three surgeries. So I used to always go down on one knee, and no matter what, and I used to catch some guff for that. But I'm like,
No,
oh.
but no one has
So.
trouble with that, really. You just explain it. Like fighting on a gym floor.
Yes.
If you go down on both knees and they're like, hard metal like that, you zip and then you fall, and that's dangerous. So safety is the primary concern of everything.
Scratch that. Got to the gym floor.
Yeah, safety is important. So if you don't feel safe, don't do it. Again, anything hand hits are illegal. You can hit someone in the hand, but it doesn't count. So unless you're trying to bust someone's fingers and be a jerk, then there's no point in hitting them in the hand. Same with the knee and below. It's dangerous. That is actually a illegal target. If you do hit someone there, it's not that timeout or whatever. It's just it doesn't count. So they're gonna ignore it. So there's no point in doing it.
Yeah. There's really no advantage to unless you want to sweep the leg, Johnny, so that
Right.
you
But you can't hit someone when they're on the ground.
Right.
And you can't hit someone from the ground, which I was really bad once upon a time.
Yeah.
I was stabbing a king. Actually, a king.
Nice.
From the
Nice.
ground. I'm laying on the ground, stabbing him in the exactly. I've made a lot of mistakes like that.
Yeah. Let's see. So
yes, Bjorn, safety is the #1 concern. So let's hit people with sticks.
I do want to talk about rhino hides.
People that don't take hits. Yes.
That and I get it. I really do, because I'm a bigger guy, and sometimes I do not feel it. I try to focus, but man, you get out there and you get the adrenaline going, and all of a sudden the sticks are flying. I managed to smash a knight in the face one time, and his retinue surrounded me, and they seal beat me. It was like I was one of them big-eyed baby seals, and they were just clubbing me, and they crushed me so I couldn't fall down. I finally had to say,
you were yelling good.
Yeah.
I remember you were yelling good, and you even had your weapon up like this. That's how your underarm got all bruised.
Oh yeah, it's total.
We have photos of that somewhere.
They were so mad that I killed their knight that they let me have it. They let me have it. It was rough. It was rough, but again, safety is #1, and it is fun, and it is sometimes, like I said, particularly being a bigger guy, it really, I don't feel the hit. So when people call it, I take it. I usually just take the hit and walk away, because one, I hear this all the time, or heard this all the time from the Florida guys, that us Northerners take a beating. Well, part of it is we usually wear thicker armor because it's cold up here, and so we can wear this without sweating to death. So the further south you get, the less armor you want on, the less layers.
A lot more plastic.
Yeah.
Which they've done some amazing things with plastic in the last few years, like just hiding it and covering it and making it look good, or even motocross armor now is.
I was gonna say,
cover it up with a tunic and
motocross armor. Field hockey armor. What's it called? Why am I not remembering what field hockey's called? Lacrosse armor. All these lighter plastic armors that they can put on, and then put tunics and surcoats over top. That's, if you want to get in on the kind of on the cheap, that's probably a good way to go. But I mean, that's amazing.
It's the look. Yeah,
it's amazing. Pickle barrel armor. Oh my God. Yeah. So
barrels.
People used to take the pickle buckets and cut them and Dremel them and form bits for their armor.
That's still very common.
Oh, it is?
But
it
some
is?
people, we got a local kid that, he's not really a kid anymore, is he? Anyway, a local guy that he does some pretty amazing stuff with his plastics.
Nice.
And he spray paints it and makes scales and all sorts of stuff.
Sweet. Talking about that, a lot of the Lord of the Rings armor was made out of plastic.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that all looked good. So I would say go for it. Go for it. If you want to make some plastic armor. And do
I have
it
been
up.
thinking about it because I have a friend who I took her armor, her full body piece of armor in one hand. I'm like tossing it like nothing, I mean, it weighed probably as much as your mouse there. This is your full body suit. Wow, that's amazing. I think I need to use some Kydex.
So just to clarify this, I was picturing when you said pickle barrel armor that someone was just sort of wearing the pickle barrel, like the 20s hobos. But you're talking about cutting it and making it into like lamellar scale.
Yeah,
That's what you're talking about.
that and just like these pieces here, the body pieces that don't flex, just cutting it out of pickle barrel.
Okay. Because I just did a Google search and I'm very disappointed.
It's not just pickle buckets. Someone on their head. That's awesome. How about a suit of carved foam cosplay style armor? I don't know.
That wouldn't be a lot of protection.
Yeah. Well, and it would crack. You'd take the first few blows and you would be out of armor probably, because I can't imagine a bit like this being made out of any kind of foam and surviving a smash.
Well, it seems like being made out of pickle barrel plastic would be pretty dangerous because it seems like if you get hit hard, that would crack and you could get a piece of sharp plastic driven into you.
You could. If somebody's hitting that hard, though, most likely your marshal's going to...
And it's got to be old plastic, too.
Yeah. So,
those plastics don't crack. They don't break. Not bucket. Like barrel armor. Like barrel plastic. It's thicker and doesn't really crack.
Get a little flicks to them.
It does that turn white thing.
Yeah.
Before it will break.
So let's talk about the first word, society. So there's ranks and levels, and how do you rise in the ranks of S.C.A?
Playing along, I guess.
How do you get a white belt?
Playing along.
But you do have there is a combat component.
I don't have any rank whatsoever. I've been overlooked, even like the lowest of ranking, because I moved and everybody assumes. I just brought it up at practice before, just last week, that I moved from one area to another, and I've been in it so long, and when I tell people I don't even have my lowest rank, my award of arms, they're like, really? I'm like, well.
Because it is a society, and you do have to put the time and stuff in, and then like you said, I looked it up today because I couldn't, the last Baron I knew was our buddy Mac, and that was years ago, so it was really interesting, and I appreciated, like I said, when I looked it up, I was like, oh, that's cool. As far as I know, to get certain titles, you have to win X number of tourneys.
No.
Not anymore, huh?
It depends on the title. Some are elected officials.
Okay.
The Baron.
Yeah?
Baron, Baronesses, they're actually elected.
Oh, okay. There used to be. Anyway.
No, they have always been elected.
Elected?
Office. Yeah. Because they're in charge of an area.
Right.
Right? Those people are generally elected by the populace of that area. Whereas the head, the king, is trial by combat.
Yes.
There's a tourney every 6 months to decide who the next king and queen are going to be.
It is not cheap to be a king or queen.
Right. You get an allowance.
Yeah, but it is not cheap.
You have to be able to travel and go take the weekends off and go to all the events.
Yeah, it's a commitment, and I have heard lower end is in the thousands of dollars to be royalty, and the upper end is in the over 10 grand to be royalty. So again, it's a commitment. It definitely you need to be willing to commit to that level. So,
Yes.
how do you become a knight? Again,
Playing the game. You have to be squired. So you got to be buddy with another knight, and you got to basically go to a lot of events, and you got to hit your practices and fight in tournaments. And this
do service.
Yeah, I haven't done things like that either. So
Yep.
I'm not a tourney fighter. I like the battles. So, yeah, I haven't fought in tournaments and stuff. And I had my house for a while, my own group, my tribe, which we're going to be rebuilding here soon. But I've got a little bit of recognition for that. I've got an award from another kingdom.
Yeah.
That's the odd thing. I've got a scroll from another kingdom praising me, my group, but my own kingdom has never really recognized us.
Chad, good one, Beowulf. I thought you become a knight by showing up after sunset or something like that.
Yes.
You get yourself a white belt and then you walk out on the field. That's what you need.
Yeah.
I have to say I really like hunting on battlefields, hunting white belts. It's like my favorite thing in the world. Cause
It was fun, and that's what I used to do back in the day.
One of my favorites. We were in the field battle and lined up, and it was stagnant. You know, they sides build up, and then you rush the line and whatnot. Well, you know, me and Dr. Gere split up by about 10 yards, and this
Woods battle. That was a woods battle.
It was a woods battle.
Yep.
This Trojan, you know, he's a big plume Trojan knight, big guy, bigger than me. Came out one time and he was challenging, and you know, I looked down at Dr. Gere and he's looking back at me, and I was like, we whistled and we went out like wolves. And this giant guy who'd just been declaring how he was going to take us all on by himself just faded back into the shield wall. It was just, it's so fantastic. I love it. So
yeah, Bjorn knows the Shrieking Knight story. That was actually my first Penzik that I was hunting. I was all alone. I was fighting by myself, and it was bridge battles. And I saw this one. I had to pick my target. I didn't know what to do, so I picked a target. I'm like, that guy, that's a knight. I'm gonna get him. And so I snuck my way through the crowd out onto the bridge and got to the front of the line, because you got the bridge and then you got the two. These guys come out and these guys come out, and then they just poke at each other with sticks. Like that. And so I snuck up to the front of the line, and then once I got there, I ran across and I took this knight out. But I did it on this side of the bridge, so my shield covered here, and there's nobody or nothing off the edge of the bridge over here. So I went out, I killed this knight. I was all proud, first time warrior. And so then garage band. Anyway. So I got him the first battle.
Yeah.
Second battle, I'm pacing back and forth, looking down the bridges, trying to choose my target. There's that guy again in the same spot. All right, I'm going to go out. I go out, I run across, bam, got him again. Same night. I'm all proud, Third and final battle. I'm pacing. There's the guy. Same night, same spot. So I go out there, and I run across the line, and I crash into him, and he screams. He's like, somebody kill this guy! And unfortunately, he had a left-handed polearm guy standing behind him at this time, which could swing that way around the bridge and get me. So, boom, I died. But I used to turtle all the time. I'd just run up to the enemy line and throw my shield on my head and duck down and poke at them while they're all bang, bang, bang.
Romans?
Yeah.
Vikings? That's a good tactic.
Yeah, except for it was just me.
Yes.
I'm the only one doing it.
Meanwhile, the shield, if you had actually
All the
formed a
spears.
shield wall,
Right.
you could...
But what's great about that is that, yes, I would run forward and I would die. And I might not even kill anybody in my attempt, because nobody feels me stabbing them. But what they do feel is all the spear guys in my line poking them in the face while they're trying to hit me.
And that's
So I got a lot of people killed. And that was the tactic of it.
and that's always, you know, the guy in front of you, the guy next to you kills. You kill the guy across from you, you know.
Over here usually.
Yeah. Hey, Muddy, if you would throw out a Penzik 39 Lost Boys
It's a
video.
good video.
Look it up on YouTube.
Okay.
That'd be awesome.
39?
Yeah, Penzik 39 Lost Boys.
All right.
You'll
I'll
see
live to serve you.
you'll see me on the thumbnail.
Yeah. One of my, again, I think it was the same forest battle. The two of us took out a line of a dozen spearmen because we flanked them. They put their backs to these pine trees, and we just slaughtered them. Just slaughtered. One guy was in the trees, and he had a spear. Don't hit me! Don't hit me! And I'm like, you yield, yield! You know. And it's just so fun and funny.
Then we took the space between those pine trees. That we were like, this is our spot.
We're looking for the kamikaze battle?
Yes.
All right. You got it.
Yeah. So that was a good one. The
one of my other favorites in the woods battle, because the woods battle ends up stagnant little lines throughout the woods, you know, actually kind of like all through the woods is like a line. But I go to this new kid. I mean, it was like his first Penzik, and he happened to be fighting spear, which was kind of rare. And I'm
because
like,
you have to qualify for
each weapon.
Each weapon.
So I'm like, you want to kill some people? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, get ready. Now, and I ran across and smashed into the enemy line, doing the shield on my head thing, right? And I expect for him to get some kills and me to die valiantly. But bam, bam, he kills a couple guys, and I actually get up and back up into my line without getting hit. So I was like, and he's like, that was awesome. I'm like, you want to do it again? And he's like, yeah. So I run up there and we did it again. And then the third time, of course, I ran out and got killed. But we killed a lot of people. And that's what, that's what I like, to work with people and in a battle and not be to me the glory goes to the unit, not to the man, and so I like fighting as a team.
That's not a very knightly attitude.
Well, and that's why I don't have a belt.
I like being an assassin. I just like to that guy's gonna die. Yeah, that's what I like. It's my favorite. So I only got to go to one Penzik.
Since I switched up to polearm, though, it is a lot more of fighting with people.
Yeah.
Standing next to that shield guy and using him as a block, or saving him before he gets hit by a spearman. And that's what I like about the polearm, is that it's like the medium weapon. You're good. You can kind of poke. You can knock spears out of the way, but then you can also bash people once it closes in. So it's a fun weapon. It's kind of like the assault rifle, I guess.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. It's not a sniper weapon.
Yeah.
It's not hand to hand. Medium. All right. Well, we're down to like 2 minutes. Anybody out there?
Wow, and we didn't cover all your.
I know.
stuff.
I know. And that's fine though. I think we had a good time. We had a pretty good turnout. Let's turn it over in the next couple minutes to questions. And until
let's say first, there is a lot more than just the combat.
Yeah. Music, poetry, arts and crafts, history, lessons, classes at Penzik.
Calligraphy.
Yeah, at Penzik, there are so many classes. This is a booklet. It's like Gen Con for medieval studies. Everything from Japanese armor making to, like you said, calligraphy, Latin, languages, an entire world of languages, very specific. Everything from very specific, the reign of Asuman in 1620 in the Ottoman Empire to, all right, this is an axe. It really, there's a whole wide world. And the culture, it's like, people are like, isn't it just like a Renaissance fair? No, it's not just like a Renaissance fair.
Way back when we had vampires and elves running around at Penzik War.
No.
And it was like that in the 90s. Vampires were like popular, so people would have the fags and they're running around at Pennsic, and then there was people with the elf ear technology got good. So people would run around with elf ears, and they actually put out a bounty on elf ears and vampire fangs because they were so annoying, running around all Ren Fair fantasy and our historical thing. And now
it's back.
Cell phones. My bane at an big event like this, and people walking around on their cell phones. Or this year, I did not go this year, and I'm kind of glad because Pokemon Go. I know it. I know there was probably people all over the place running around catching Pokemon.
Stop the battle! It's a Pidgey!
Right, exactly. Yeah, in the middle of the battle.
What were you saying?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I was just catching a Rattata.
Yeah. So, yeah, people on the cell phones, I walk around mocking them. It's just
fairy boxes.
Yeah, I don't quite get it, but I think
It was because of brain salad surgery came out about that thing.
Yeah. So anyway, it just drives me nuts that it's almost like we're back in the Middle Ages. Almost.
One of the cool little things that I liked was Tag, the assassination game.
Oh, yeah.
So
that actually started there and then spread to the Ren Fairs.
So you could go along, you would sign up for it, you would get a ribbon or a pin or something you had to wear on your body that you were playing the assassination game. And then you have spoons.
Yep, a duct tape spoon.
A duct tape spoon. And that's how you would get the other assassins, and then you would get their pin or their ribbon. And then by the end of Pennsic, you'd have, a big paw full. That was really awesome. I never participated, didn't have time basically, but I knew people who did, and that was great. If you're not, if you're just a Weasley sneaky git and you don't want to have a suit of armor and get hit in the head, you could still play.
There's other things you can play and do while you're there. Yeah, there was the plague for a while. They did where I think it started with a sheet of paper that had a bunch of fleas, and the back had the instructions, and basically you would rip off one and you'd rip it in half and you'd hand the plague over, and then that person would rip it and keep handing plague out to people. But yeah, the assassin one was fun, and they just stab each other with spoons. So lots of fun stuff goes on, and then at night it's just parties. It's just walk around drum circles, bonfires and belly dancers. And
I'll try to get some of my Pennsic photos up, because there's I can't remember who the guy is who always does the amazing nighttime photography, but some of it's just fantastic. They have like a Midnight Madness sale, usually where the vendors are all open like late night, and then it's
on Wednesday,
and it's all lit up, and it's just utterly just a spectacle to see. My favorite camp, let's talk about camps other than Blue Rose, obviously, because it's landscaped and gorgeous. I like a lot of the samurai camps just because
there's the samurai one.
They just look really good. They just really have it done up right, and it just
the Roman Villa does a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, they actually build buildings.
Yeah.
There's a few. There's the cathedral, which is all like resin cast. I don't think that was there back when you
right. No, it was.
It was.
Yeah.
The resin cast cathedral with the stained glass windows and everything. Yeah, and it's all mobile.
Yeah.
Everything goes up for 2 weeks and then
comes back down, put in a trailer and taken back to, behind the Dairy Mart. And,
wherever it goes.
The year I was there, someone had put a garden gnome up in the cathedral.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, we're past 8 o'clock. Thanks everyone for coming out. That was
give them 3 seconds for a question.
I saw none
questions.
come up. So we're all good.
Oh, Mr. Carter.
All right.
I got a question.
Lord Carter.
So what's the point?
What's the point?
Of S.C.A.
Oh man.
The point is whatever.
In a couple of sentences.
Whatever you want to make it, honestly.
That's lame. Come on.
I know it is, but if you're into the ranking and rising up into society and you want to be in the arts and sciences or the combat or whatever, however you want it,
Or royalty.
yeah. Well, royalty would come through combat,
Yeah.
but however you want to do it, it's what you make it. I haven't taken part in that part of it. I have my own little group. We do our thing. We like to go out and fight, and I make cool stuff for myself and I sell it. But
everything from I just like to hit people with sticks to I have now mastered Italian opera from the 14th century. It really is quite the amazing gambit of
there's people that only
reenactment.
come out to Penzic,
right,
and only
Yeah.
go around to parties.
yeah, and they're
That's it. They just come out to party.
everything from like one weekend a year, like Vineyard Raid, one of our local events, to it's every weekend. Oh my God, I travel 3 states away to go to some St. Valentine's Day massacre in somewhere else.
There's an event pretty much within 150 miles any given weekend.
All right, well, I think that's about it for this week. And guys, again, thanks for coming out. I will say, Bjorn says there is no point. They use blunted equivalents to weapons, except in like archery competitions and stuff. Aw, that's nice.
Yeah, that is a good point he brought up, because
Yeah.
you mentioned the atlatls.
Yeah.
But there is actual real archery.
Yep.
And real axe throwing and real spear throw, that type stuff too.
And the fencing is
somebody must have just signed in.
Halloween game. Hi, Thetum. Hey, we're just signing off, buddy. Sorry, we were talking about the Society for Creative Anachronism.
Watch the VOD.
Watch the VOD, and you'll see the chat and the links, and it's an amazing time. Can't say enough about it. I would say hit me in the head with that rattan stick, but you're gonna do one last skull smash.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna get
without the chin strap though. So
all right. I'm gonna let you do it.
A little dangerous.
Yep.
There
All right. There it is.
Helmet on.
And you guys have seen my coyote over there, so.
All right. So ASMR.
Yeah, okay, go on.
I just love when they hit me in the head. Gives me brain sparkles.
Woo!
No offense to the ASMR people.
We love you guys. All right. All right, guys. Have a good one. Thanks for coming out. Theodem, watch the VOD, buddy. Oh, also, don't forget, everyone, you can go up and watch the VODs, or you can check us out on Greybeardstavern.com now. We have it up, all our social media, a gallery, blog and Tumblr and all that is all connected through our new GBT website. So Greybeardstavern.com, check it out, and we'll see you guys next week. Oh, I forgot. It's the wrong
It's a
one.
freeze frame.
Yeah, we forgot. We're okay. Ready?
Yep.
Not yet.
Okay.
All right.
Freeze frame.
All right. Squirrel Bane.